Hi everyone, welcome back to another update on the tropics. We're tracking tracking Jose still, which now downgraded down to a tropical storm. Boy, it's been a while and we're still tracking Jose. It's ridiculous. And Jose's not moving actually. It's actually stalling off the northeast coast of the United States, bringing a lot of rough surf to the beaches like we saw a couple of days ago. So yeah. Now now this may have an impact on Maria's future. According to most of the models, almost all of the models show that it will impact Maria's future by changing the steering currents a little bit. Now Jose's over really cold water, but because of its size, it's going to be slowly weakening, so it's not going to be weakening that fast. As you can see here, winds are downgraded to 60 miles per hour, 60 mile per hour tropical storm. It'll be meandering around here, and tropical storm warnings are still up for parts of Cape Cod, parts of southeastern parts of Massachusetts, coastal Massachusetts, according to the advisory. Still bringing tropical storm force gusts to parts of these areas over here, and they'll be sitting around here. So gee, I bet it may weaken a bit in the next update. I think so, but we gotta wait and see what happens. Right now it's weakening still. It brought some conditions to the northeast coast of the United States. Luckily, the effects were pretty minimal around all these areas, except it brought some gusty winds and heavy rain to them. Now, Jose is going to be meandering around here because of the giant block that's to the north of Jose. As you can see here in the 500 millibar height anomalies. As you can see here, here's Jose. You can see here, Jose's weakening. Now, it does have now there is dry air in cold water. That's why the humidity is not that good. As you see, the humidity is not that good because there's a lot of dry air, and the temperature is not that good either. It's indicating there's some dry air in the storm. That's why the storm looks a lot drier than we saw than last week. Now what we do see here is the GFS ensemble mean 500 millibar height. Here's Jose, and down here's Maria. I'll get to Maria in just a bit. As you can see here, Jose will be meandering around here, but guess what Jose does? It actually blocks the ridge from building in. Well, now the ridge is over the top, and you see Maria down here, and a lot of people say that the storm's gonna go straight toward the United States because of this pattern. Now, yes, storms are directed towards the United States when there's a giant block over southeastern Canada and over the Great Lakes. Now, yeah, that may happen, but because of Jose, it's going to be leaving a weakness in the steering flow that may cause Maria to slip away from the ridge, to be slipped away from the ridge and out into the Atlantic, as what the GFS shows. As you can see here, there's the ridge. It wants to turn it back, but there's a trough coming down, so it's going to kick it out to sea. That's what it does. That's what it does, and then the ridge starts to build back in again. Now, I don't know why I went that far, but you get the idea. There's Maria. The ridge wants to steer this thing back towards, but because now this is a trough coming down. Oops. This is a trough coming down, and it's gonna kick this ridge out here in the Atlantic. Now it's gonna steer this away from the United States. Now a lot of the models do show that Jose will have an impact on Maria's future. That's what they're showing here. That's what it's showing actually. When we get to Maria in just a bit. Here's Hurricane Maria. Ah, man. It's been downgraded from Cat 5 to a Category 3. It could strengthen again because of the very warm waters of the Western Atlantic. But man, did it have a really bad impact on Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico saw a direct hit from Maria. It's ridiculous. Even Dominica saw a direct impact from this thing. I mean, it's actually known to be one of the strongest hurricanes to ever make landfall in Puerto Rico in 85 years, according to what we have seen. According to what we have seen here. But man, the island has been devastated from this thing. I mean, it brought dangerous surf. I mean, dangerous storm surge, wind, and heavy rain, and the terrain. There's a lot of terrain in the island, so it may have disrupted the storm a bit. But that's all of that terrain may have caused a bunch of flooding and flash flooding, flash flooding, bunch of mudslides, land. Like that's the deadliest thing a hurricane would do. Every time there's terrain all over the area, you're gonna be seeing a lot of mudslides. Flash flooding is the big deal here, and that's what we saw. You could be seeing up to 2 feet of rain on the island, so that's definitely not a good thing. Dangerous situation still unfolding. Now, as you can see here, the eye got disrupted a bit after it came off the island. Now it's trying to reorganize itself so it can start strengthening again, but that'll be a little bit too late by the time it gets to the north up here, because there's going to be increasing wind shear by that time. Here's the forecast cone from the NA. This is the official forecast track from the National Hurricane Center. It's actually showing Maria down here, and the warning's already up for Dominican Republic and South Turks and Caicos and Southeast Bahamas here, because Maria will be close enough to bring some sort of hurricane force, hurricane conditions to parts of the islands here. They have to keep an eye on this to see if how close the storm gets, as you can see here. Now, by the time we get up here, now it is going to turn to the north because there is Jose is up here still. Now it'll depend where Jose will be still, because if Jose just goes away by the time Maria's up here, what's going to do is that the ridge is going to connect up here. There's going to be some sort of ridge connection. One out here is going to be connecting to the ridge that's up here. What's going to do is going to direct this storm towards the United States. But that's pretty much unlikely at this point, because a lot of models suggest Jose is going to be meandering around here, and there could be a weakness in the steering flow that will direct the storm out to sea. That's what the cone has it, out to sea, offshore. As you can see here, you can definitely see it on the satellite loop. Maria coming off of Puerto Rico. Now it's affecting Hispaniola, the DR, Dominican Republic. And they'll be heading north in that direction. Now, we don't know what's going to happen. It could be weakening because of dry air or some wind shear by the time it gets up here. But the bigger question is, will it affect the United States? That's the big question that we're looking at. For now, we don't know yet, but we're gonna see more details as